Hi folks, in this video I'm going to be talking to you about Starman by David Bowie from his classic 1972 album, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. It's one of my favorite songs. I sing it to my kids as a lullaby. I've remixed it about 100 times. It's really a good one. Also a very eccentric and unconventional song. So let us dive right in. I've got the song laid out here in Ableton Live, and we're going to zoom in on the intro. And the song starts in a pretty strange way. So that is not a typical chord to start a rock song with. That is a B flat chord with a sharp 11th in it with an E natural. And I'm going to go over to the accordion here. So here's the key of F major. And the fourth chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, is B flat. The sus4, the 4, the 11 would be E flat, but if you sharp it, then you get E natural. And Bowie is doing that with the open E string of the guitar, and it's a very dissonant sound. Yeah, because first of all, you got this clash between E and F. Between E and B flat is a tritone. So yeah, very mysterious and kind of exotic sound. Something that you would hear in jazz, but not typically in rock. And then the second chord is also a somewhat unusual. So now we've got F major 7th. And here we've got the tonic, we've got F, and then we've got a third on top of it. So that's an E natural. And again, it's the same open E string from the guitar, but you do have this clash between E and F. It's a pretty sophisticated sound. So that happens twice. Second time, we've got some Bowie vocals on top. And then into verse 1.
Didn't know what time it was, the lights were low. Oh, oh. Didn't know what time it was, the lights were low. Oh, oh.
So that's a G minor chord, and the song is nominally in F, and you could think of that G minor as being the 2 chord in F, but I really hear it as being the tonic. I really hear us as being in the key of G minor. And I'll tell you why. This G minor is in a metrically very strong position, and he sits on it for a while. So I just really hear this as the key center. And that would make that second chord, that F chord, not the tonic at all. I hear that. I hear that F chord as the 7 chord. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I hear that as being the 7 chord, and all of this as being a G natural minor groove.
I leaned back on my radio. Oh, oh. Some cat was laying down some rock and roll, that is all he said.
Okay, now here, that C chord, we could still plausibly be in G minor. We can't be in G natural minor because that has E flat in it. But if we were to switch to G Dorian mode, then the 4 chord is E. It's got E natural, so it is a C chord or a C7. But what happens after that is this C7 resolves to F. And that C7 to F movement is a pretty clear indication that we are, in fact, in F major. So we've got, that's the 5 chord, C7, and this resolving to F. And that 5 to 1, I mean, that's like a Western classical music thing, and that would pretty unambiguously establish us as being in the key of F. But that F chord is in a metrically weak spot, and so even though the chord function does say F should be the key, I still hear G minor as being a key center unto itself. Here at the end of the verse, this fairly strange thing happens. we've got this A flat chord, and that is not from the key of F. I mean, the 3 chord would be A minor. That A flat chord to me is evoking the blues. It's evoking the F blues scale. Yeah, that's a real classic blues riff. But it's not just the chords in this little section that are unusual. It's also the harmonic rhythm, the timing of everything. So here it's useful to understand this concept called hypermeter, the grouping of measures into larger groups called hypermeasures. And I've labeled the hypermeasures up here, these pink and purple rectangles. So the first hypermeasure is the first 2 bars. This is G minor. That's a hypermeasure. Second hypermeasure, the F. Third hypermeasure, C and C7. But then that last hypermeasure, it's half as long as the other ones. It's only 1 bar long, and it's got all these chords in it, one of which is completely from outside the key. So yeah, you can feel like the harmonic rhythm getting like compressed there at the end, and it gives the whole verse this like lopsided feeling as it kind of rushes through the musical structure at the end. So the second half of the verse starts off the same as the first one. We've got G minor and F.
Then the loud sound that seemed to fade came back like a slow voice on a wave of fade.
And then we've got the C and C7, the third hypermeasure. But then, what is that? I hear us as being in a completely new key now. I hear us as being in a Mixolydian mode. And that's the 1 chord A, and then the 7 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, is G. And there's that A ringing on top of it. And then it just stays there over the G. Isn't that nice? So apparently Bowie got that from You Keep Me Hanging On by the Supremes. This idea of a high piano just like playing the tonic as the chords change underneath it. Extremely hip. Now, it's not completely out of nowhere. You could hear that A and that G leading back to the F in the chorus as being kind of related to the key of F in that, you know, the first 3 notes in the F major scale, F, G, and A. And you could think of that as like 3 blind mice in the key of F, and Bowie is just thinking, oh, but what if I play the entire A chord and the entire G chord, even though those aren't from inside the key? They do evoke it, which is pretty cool.
There's a starman waiting in the sky.
All right, so now we've got the chorus, and it starts with this nice octave, Starman, which apparently Bowie is referencing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Somewhere over the rainbow. Yeah, you can hear the similarity. The first 2 chords are F and D minor. That's the 1 chord and the 6 chord in F. And then the second hypermeasure got a slightly unusual thing here. We've got A minor, the 3 chord, then G minor, the 2 chord, then the 5 chord. So those are all from within the key, but that's a not standard root movement. And then that all repeats with vocal harmony. Now this is interesting. So we've got the 4 chord, but then we've got the 4 chord from parallel F minor. Oh, it's so sad. So in F major, the 4 chord is B flat, D, and F, but then in F minor, it's B flat, D flat, F. So sad. And then we have something else interesting. we've got this D chord with F sharp in the bass. So here we're once again leaving the key of F and we're going into G minor. This time it's G harmonic minor. So that's the tonic G minor. And then the 5 chord is D, F sharp, and A, or the dominant chord rather. And the F sharp, that third, Bowie is putting it in the bottom of the guitar chord, so it leads right up to the G in G minor. Very, very cool.
Let all the children boogie.
So here we've got
Let all the children boogie.
G minor and C are the 1 and 2, or the 2 and 5 chords rather, back in F major, and that 2-5 movement is more of a jazz thing than a rock thing, but yeah, it sounds good. Here's the thing though, it doesn't resolve back to F like you would expect. Now we go into the guitar solo, which starts on B flat. Now this is a more conventional rock and roll type of groove. Got 4-1-5-1, like, but the melody is a bit of a strange one. We're all in F major. But it's going between the notes A and E. And it never hits F. It never hits the tonic, which is pretty strange. And also accenting this is not typical in rock and roll. Like, it's more of a classical music thing. And if you take that melody in isolation, it doesn't even sound like we're in F anymore. It sounds like we're in A Phrygian mode. Yeah, it's got this kind of Iberian feel or even Arabic feel. Very, very cool. So the guitar solo starts to repeat. But it doesn't finish where you're expecting the rest of this last hyper measure. It gets cut in half, and instead it lands back on G minor for the second verse. And again, the strength of this G minor metrically, the emphasis of it, makes it feel like a key center, which is why I have labeled it one, even though the rest of the song is in F. So the second verse is the same as the first. We've got this break, we've got the second chorus, and then the second chorus repeats. We've got another guitar solo, same as the first guitar solo, and then we have this outro where he's just singing that guitar melody on La, which is so hip. Oh my lord, it's so hip. And by now, like, there's no more formal trickery. Like, you can see the hypermeter just stays consistent. These nice predictable 4-bar phrases until the tune fades out. And that is the end of Starman. So thank you very much for watching.